Hey guys, welcome to Ask Truth Apologetics. Today we're going to go a little bit of a different route. We're not going to go quite as theological or apologetic as usual. I think it's really important that we learn as men how to speak to women, right? So let's say that you see a pretty girl out somewhere and you want to get her attention, let her know that you're interested in her, and tell her a little bit about your personality. I think it's really important that you use a really good pickup line, such as, "Hey, I hope you know CPR because you just took my breath away." Lines like that are some really good ways to open up the conversation, to get people laughing, joking, even flirting. Okay. So, I've been reading through quite a few different pickup lines. Some of them are really good. So I found a cool website. Let me read a few more um, to you. So things like, "I ought to complain to Spotify because you are not named this week's hottest single." Okay, so it's a great way to start a conversation with someone. Other great ones are, "Your eyes are like the ocean. I could swim in them all day." And I think all of those pickup lines are pretty decent, but they were written by people who aren't the best of mankind. I want to know what kind of pickup lines the best of mankind would use. And I know you're asking yourself, who is the best of mankind? Well, everybody knows that it's Muhammad, of course. Muhammad was the best of mankind, and I think we should take pickup line advice from him, and then we should be able to, explore a little bit further after you use these great pickup lines, how you should treat that woman and how you should end up, once you marry them, how you should treat your wife. Um, so I was reading through some of the Hadith literature, and I would say probably the best pickup line I've ever read, of course, coming from the best of mankind, everything that comes from his mouth is absolutely true and golden. Okay. So in his farewell speech, I think he left really good advice for men to follow. He said, "Men, treat your women well, like domesticated animals." So I think that is a beautiful pickup line. So the next time you're out, assuming you're a single man, and you want to get the attention of a woman, don't give her the CPR line, right? Don't give her the Spotify line. Let her know how you're going to treat her. Say, "Girl, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to treat you well. I'm going to treat you well just like a domesticated animal." Okay, that's what women like to know. Women like to know that, they're likened to a dog, except for dogs are haram. They're more so likened to perhaps a cat or a camel or a donkey. And that, what, you're gonna feed them and water them and, take them out for walks and change their kitty litter box, all those things. Those are the things that women are really, really interested in. Okay, they want to know that, and they want to be treated. All girls want to hear that they are similar to domesticated animals. So just let them know the best of mankind said that it is our job as men to treat women well, just like we treat our domesticated animals. Okay? So let's say that that pickup line works, and let's be honest, it's going to work. But let's say that after it works, you get married to your wife, and she's not acting like a good domesticated animal. What is it that you ought to do? I mean, you need to let her know that it is not okay to misbehave. And so if we read the Quran, we read in Quran chapter 4, verse 34, that, that men, it's our job. We are supposed to be the managers of the affairs of women for God, because he has preferred in bounty us, right, one of them over another, and that they have expended of their property. Righteous women, right, good domesticated animals, right, the ones that we're going to treat so well. They ought to be obedient and guard in secret for God's guarding. Okay, but let's say that you fear their disobedience. Let's say that they've not even been disobedient, but you just have like a gut feeling that your wife, whom you picked up by saying, I'm going to treat you well like a domesticated animal. And you're afraid that that domesticated animal is going to go and do something that it shouldn't do, right? As a stronger, more powerful, more appropriately religious and intelligent man, and I'll give supporting verses to explain why men are better than women and smarter and more reliable. Um, what is it that we should do to prevent them, right, from going off and doing something stupid, right? These these domesticated animals, they need to be guided. They need to be guided with love, right? Because that is what all it is. All is loving and compassionate and all caring and all knowing and all of those beautiful things. So let's say, like it says in Quran 4:34, males, husbands, if you fear your wife's disobedience, you should first admonish her, right? Yell at her. Make sure that she knows that you're on to something. She might have done something wrong, or she might be thinking about doing something wrong, or she might not actually be doing anything wrong or planning to do anything wrong, but you need to trust your gut instinct here, right? You yell at them. Say, Allah doesn't want you to do whatever it is that you think that they might do, whether or not they are going to, it doesn't matter. Yell at them. That's very important, right? So you need to yell at your women. It's very important to do so because that's what you do to domesticated animals, guys, right? So, and then after that, you banish them, right? Banish them. You out of the bedroom, sleep on the couch. So when you fear that disobedience, you yell at them and then you throw them out of your bedroom and onto the couch, right? Because domesticated animals aren't going to learn unless you teach them a hard lesson. Okay, you got to teach them the hard lesson. Okay, and you also, that's those two things alone aren't going to quite do it, right? Because domesticated animals, they got to get it through their head, right? They really got to get it through their head that they need to be yelled at, they need to be kicked out of the bedroom, and then you need to beat them, right? It's very important that you beat them, and that's what it says. That's what it says in Quran chapter 4, verse 34. Okay, so after you use that beautiful pickup line, hey girl, I'm gonna treat you good like a domesticated animal, but if you do something that I think you might do something wrong, I'm gonna yell at you, throw you out on the couch, and I'm gonna beat you. Okay? It's really important that as a man, you know that you're supposed to do that. So what other things is your job as a man? What are you supposed to do? What is the word of God, what does the best of mankind teach for all of us to do? Well, in other situations, right, we all know that adultery is wrong, right? So if you see a pretty girl, you're married, you shouldn't go after her. That pickup line, just don't use it, okay? Unless you have three open slots for the extra wives, right? Then go ahead and use it. So if you're married, you can marry up to four women. But let's say that the woman that you are interested in is married. Does Allah say that you can marry her? Does He say that you can sleep with her? Well, the answer is no, unless your right hand possesses them. So in Surah 4:24, it tells us that, what, you can sleep with a woman who is married and essentially commit adultery, but really it's not adultery because um, she's someone who your right hand possesses, right? That means that she's a slave. So her husband could be a slave somewhere else. He could be a slave underneath your own household. But it's not adultery when you marry or sleep with a married woman as long as she's a slave. Okay, so that's another really important tip that you guys need to understand there. So those are just a couple of the things that we're going to be looking at. I'm also going to take a look at. I had mentioned earlier that a woman's intelligence is about half that as a man. And again, guys, that's why we need to treat them well, like domesticated animals. It says, let's see here if I can find it. In Surah 2, verse 282, it says that if you call a witness from among your men two witnesses, right? So if you need a witness, two men is enough to be able to call upon to be able to convict a crime. But you know what? Sometimes Allah knows best, of course. Sometimes two male witnesses are not available. And if two men not be at hand, then a man and two women, right? So two women plus one man, right? That's the equivalent of one man, right? And the reason why for it, guys, if you read the verse on your own, the reason for that is because women forget. They forget a lot of things, right? Like they forget to like put enough mayonnaise on our sandwich, or that, they forget sometimes we don't like tomatoes, those types of things, right? So you can't really trust one woman to give an honest testimony because one woman might forget, but the two of them probably will have the same memory equal to one man. So I know that might seem sexist, but it's just science, right? It's just science. Women just aren't. Wait a second. That's actually not science. That's not science at all. Science actually says that women are just as intelligent as men. And in fact, when it comes to memory, women slightly edge out men in their ability to recall things, details, those types of stuff. But I mean, sorry, forget science. Allah knows best, right? Science doesn't know anything. We don't know anything. It's Allah who knows best. So let's go ahead and read kind of where that Quran verse came from. What was the inspiration for that, right? So where is this going on? Why do we do this, right? So in Sahih Bukhari, Hadith 304, it says, once Allah's messenger went out to the Musalla to offer prayer and of whatever, al-Fitr prayer, and passed by a woman and said, "Oh, woman, give alms, as I have seen that the majority of dwellers in hellfire were you, women." So Muhammad passes by a woman and says, "You must give alms because the majority of hell is of women," right? So women apparently are what make up the most of hell. Men apparently are better than women, also twice as intelligent. Um, and so they asked, "Why is it so, O Allah's messenger?" And he replied, "You curse frequently." So women apparently curse frequently and are ungrateful to their husbands. "I have not seen anyone more deficient in intelligence and religion than you." So, men, you have to understand that women, it's just factual. It's just factual according to Allah, who knows best. Science completely different. I mean, we don't worry about objective facts or truth. We worry about what Allah says. And what Allah says is that He has not seen anyone as deficient in intelligence as a woman, or in religion as a woman. Women are deficient in intelligence and religion, right? A cautious, sensible man could be led astray by some of you. Okay. The women asked, "Oh, Allah's messenger, what is deficient in our intelligence and religion?" I think that's a great question. And we're going to get the answer. And he said, "It is not the evidence of two women equal to the witness of one man." And they said, "Well, yes." So he said, "This is the deficiency in her intelligence." And then he asked another kind of rhetorical question: "Isn't it true that a woman can neither pray or fast during her menses?" And the women replied, "Yes." And he said, "That is also a deficiency in your religion." So Allah, this is what's really interesting, guys, is Allah creates women, right, with menstrual cycles, and He creates them apparently with an intellectual deficit. And He created them in that specific way. And because of their lack of intelligence and their menstrual cycle, they lack intelligence and they lack in religion. So that's why most of hell is comprised of women. Okay. So, men, it's your job to have a very smooth pickup line, but probably if you use too intelligent of a pickup line, your girl ain't going to understand what you just said. Okay, so just let her know you're going to treat her well like a domesticated animal. And what you do to domesticated animals, if you fear their disobedience, is you shout at them, you banish them out of your bedroom, and you beat them. Okay, everybody, that's just smart. That's just what you're supposed to do. And The reason why we do that is because they're dumb. Women are dumb. They're half as intelligent as men, right? And I know a lot of guys, and guys aren't that smart either. So, and they're deficient in their religion. So you have to beat them. You have to beat them. You have to yell at them and you have to banish them to their bed. Otherwise, you are allowing them to drift into eternal hellfire. And it's your fault. Not really. It's all his fault because all made him that way. So anyway, there's my dating tips. For you single men out there, remember, there's CPR, there's the Spotify one, there's a lot of other really interesting pickup lines, but go with the best of mankind. Yo, girl, I go treat you well, like a domesticated animal. Okay. And then when they misbehave, beat them. Okay. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.